40 years back in November 1984, 4,000 Sikhs were killed in Delhi, the capital of India. The genocide continued unabated for 3 days. Every minute, one Sikh was killed on the streets of Delhi. After the genocide, the guilty were given high positions and they were given the position of power. For 40 years, the victims are still waiting for justice. The cases for the justice to the victims are still continuing even now. I, H.S. Phoolka, a senior advocate, has been handling these cases right from November 1984 onwards. Through this video series, we have made an effort to bring to you how this massacre was planned. It's an effort to take you through the whole entire journey of this 14 years.
Welcome everyone. My name is Neetika Khaitan and I am a lawyer who works on state repression, particularly mass violence against minorities. I recently completed a master's from Harvard Law and I'm pursuing a PhD in history at Yale University. 2024 marks the 40th anniversary of the 1984 anti-Sikh pogrom. For this occasion, it is my honor to collaborate on a video series with Senior Advocate H.S. Phoolka, who has been working on 84 cases since the beginning. It is my honor to join you, sir, on today's episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wanted to ask, how did the violence against Sikhs begin in the nation's capital? Who was the first Sikh who was attacked?
This is most surprising. The first Sikh who was attacked in Delhi was none other than the President of India. That time the President of India was a Sikh, Tarlochan Singh. Now, you see, normally whenever a riots take place, one community finds a person, isolated person of the other community, attack him, and from there slowly the violence starts and it grows. But here in Delhi, nothing of this sort has happened. Now, Mrs. Gandhi was shot in the morning. Her body was lying at AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Almost everybody knew it, that she is no more. At that time, Rajiv Gandhi was not in Delhi. Even the President of India also was not in Delhi. Rajiv Gandhi came around in the afternoon and he was in Calcutta. He reached and straight from there, he reached AIMS. And after that, the President reached at about 4:30. He landed, he was in Yemen, an African country, and he landed, and from airport he directly goes to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Now first I tell you, what was the atmosphere at that time around All India Institute of Medical Sciences? There were people over there, they were mourning. And there were many Sikhs also among the crowd who was there. Because in Delhi, many Sikhs were the followers of Congress. So they were there, they were also among the mourners. Now, we have this affidavit of Kuldeep Singh. Kuldeep Singh says on 31st October, he lives very close by, he lives in the Subject Enclave area. He says twice he went to get some medicine at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences because there are many shops of chemists over there. He said both the times he noticed that though people are mourning, they knew it that Mrs. Gandhi is no more, but absolutely there was no hatred towards Sikhs. This is Makhani's statement, affidavit before Nanak Commission. This is Kuldeep Singh Makhani's statement before Nanavati Commission, both of these, they mention it very clearly what was the atmosphere. Another person, Jagjit Singh, also happened to be there. He was also a Congress supporter. He was a trade union leader of Congress. He says he was there in the evening around 5 o'clock. Some people came and told him कि जी सरदार जी अब यहाँ से चले जाइए क्योंकि माहौल खराब हो रहा है. Then there is another person, D.P. Gulati. He lives very close from All India Institute of Medical Sciences. He says that the atmosphere was totally normal. There was no hatred general towards Sikhs, though they were criticizing the security guards who had killed Mrs. Gandhi, but there was no hatred towards the Sikhs. Then he says a small group of 25-30 people, led by the Congress councillor Arjun Das, his brother. The Congress councillor of that area was Arjun Das. His brother brought 25-30 people and they started disturbance over there. Now, in the meantime, what happened? The president's cavalcade was coming from All India Institute of Medical Sciences. When they had not yet reached at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, when a group of 25-30 people pounced upon the president cavalcade, they started stoning it. The cars which were president car passed, they threw the stones at the president car and the window panes of president's car were broken. You see here is the president's car is standing at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The window panes of president's car is broken, the back window pane, because president's car passed, they threw stones and they hit it by the rods from the back side. In the cavalcade, the car behind president's car was the car of the press secretary of President Tarlochan Singh. Bob tried to stop that car and they had burning torches in the hand and they tried to throw those torches in the car. The driver was very smart. The driver immediately turned the car towards the other side and gave the speed and they could save. Tarlochan Singh here has given statement before Nanavati Commission rating the whole incident. He said there was absolutely everything was normal on the roads of Delhi, barring this incident. Well, they were almost there reaching at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. There at that time when the president's cavalcade goes inside, that time the situation over there was also totally normal. Now, when after 20 minutes the president comes out, then the same group of 25-30 people again attacked the president. The president bodyguard on the motorcycle who was escorting the president, his head also they smashed. Now you see the aims. At the aims, this is when the Rajiv Gandhi is coming. And Rajiv Gandhi and Arun are arriving at the aims. And these are the people you see who are mourning over there. They are sitting and mourning. So this is the atmosphere over there that time. Here is Gyani Jail Singh arrived. Arun Nehru is with him. And they are, when he arrived at the Institute of Medical Sciences, you could see he is quite in grief and he is seems to be quite worried also. Here also, the president with the Arun Nehru at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and here the president talking to the government officials around. So this was the atmosphere. The first attack was on the President of India. When he came back, after 20 minutes, the police did not make any arrangement of his security. The police, there were large number of police force over there, large number of police force. Nobody even tried to stop those gundas from attacking the president cabinet. Now, most strange part is the head of the state is attacked. Now, can you believe it? There is not even a FIR of this. President of India, the head of the state is attacked. There is not even a FIR of this. It only appeared in the newspaper that President Cavalcade is attacked. No official record, no FIR of this incident. Police did not stop anybody from attacking. Now, by this, they sent a clear message to the people: no Sikh is to be spared, however high he may be. Then message to the police that you are not to save any Sikh, even if he is the President of India. Let these gundas kill them. You are not to interfere, not to save any Sikh. So that is the kind of the atmosphere what was happening. Now you see, I showed you the atmosphere over there. These are the ladies which are sitting and mourning over there. And now this is when the Mrs. Gandhi's body is taken away. These are the people, you see this picture. This shows about 500-600 people over there. So there was not more than 700-800 people over there in all, and most of them were not violent. There were only a few group which was violent, and you see these are not more than 40-50 people who have started searching the buses. They have started searching the buses, stopping and searching the buses, not more than 40-50 people. So this is again the same, a group of hardly 40-50 people. The police is present. In the presence of the police, they are setting the vehicles on fire, and the police is standing. They are not stopping it. Neither they are trying to put off the fire. They are not doing anything. They are there. They set a few buses on fire. This is also opposite INA market. This also is opposite INA market. This one motorcycle they set on fire. This is in fact the first FIR which was lodged by the police on 31st evening, that a motorcycle is set on fire of this violence. And then the Rajiv Gandhi took oath. This is in the President House. The Rajiv Gandhi took oath as the Prime Minister, and along with Rajiv Gandhi, 4 other ministers took oath. This was Narasimha Rao, who was the Home Minister, then Pranab Mukherjee, Shiv Shankar, and Bhutta Singh. These are the ministers who took oath on that day along with Rajiv Gandhi. Now, Ashok Jaitley, a IAS officer who was district magistrate for quite some time, he says, later on he retired as the Chief Secretary of J&K. He has filed affidavit before Mishra Commission. This is affidavit. And in this affidavit he says, from my long experience as the district magistrate, I can easily say that this mob could have easily been dispersed by a few danda-wielding policemen. This mob was not that kind of a committed mob, but so violent. It could have been done, but the police, he also approached the police. He said, why you are not stopping them? He said, aapko to kuch nahi keh rahe na, ye to sardaron ko hi keh rahe hain. That was the attitude of the police. So he has narrated all this. He filed his affidavit before Mishra Commission. And so he narrated all this. Then later on what happened? Many concerned people, they got worried the way the things are moving. They go and meet the senior functionaries. Now this is the affidavit of Ram Jethmalani. Ram Jethmalani, who became the law minister, and he was a leading lawyer of the country. He goes and meets Home Minister Narasimha Rao. And he tells Narasimha Rao on 31st evening itself, night, he said, call army immediately. The way this violence is going on, this violence should be stopped here only. Call army immediately. But no army was called. This is Shanti Bhushan. Shanti Bhushan at that time was a former law minister, a senior advocate. On 1st November morning, Shanti Bhushan goes and meets Narasimha Rao. He knew Narasimha Rao from earlier time. He told Narasimha Rao, I have seen the violence is happening on the roads, you call the army. Narasimha Rao, he says, was convinced. Narasimha Rao in his presence talked on the Rex phone. Rex phone is a phone between the ministers or between the high functionary direct call. He says he picked up the Rex phone. He called somebody and he tried to convince the other person to call the army. And he said, I could see he didn't succeed. He was not able to convince the other person. He said, put off the phone and sat quietly. He said, I realized that this home minister has no power. Has no power. He's totally sidelined. He has no power. That time the affairs were directly being controlled by the Prime Minister office. This person, Arun Nehru, he was the in charge. He was managing and doing everything. The Prime Minister office was directly controlled by Arun Nehru and Rajiv Gandhi, and all the instructions were coming from there. Even the Narasimha Rao, the Home Minister, was sidelined. After that, Shanti Bhushan went and met the other minister, Shiv Shankar. They asked Shiv Shankar, what are you doing? He said, I don't know. I also don't understand what's happening. Even Shiv Shankar said so. So you see, out of the 4 ministers, 2 ministers, they are so disillusioned the way the things are being handled. This is being handled. And the 3rd minister, Bhutta Singh, his security personnel sending various messages that there is a threat to Bhutta Singh, please send more force. Because he was a Sikh. So this was directly it was being controlled by the Prime Minister's office. On 1st November morning, some of the opposition leaders, this is Ramvilas Pasma, affidavit before Nanavati Commission. Ramvilas Pasma, along with Kapuri Thakur and Devilal and K.R. Arya, they along with Charan Singh also, the former Prime Minister, they went to the President of India. They reached there around 1:30. They asked the President, call the army immediately. He said, okay, I'll talk to Home Minister. In the President of, they were sitting with him. From the President house, they called Home Minister Narasimha Rao and say, President want to speak with you. The other side, the answer came that the Home Minister is busy for half an hour, will call to the President after half an hour. So they waited there for half an hour. The call didn't come. They called again after about 1 hour. And the message came from there, the Home Minister is very busy in the meeting, he is not available. I mean, the Home Minister for 1 hour is not prepared even to talk to the President of India. Can anybody imagine this is the state of affairs? And they said, we had no option, we came back. And around same time, at that time, I.K. Gujral, who was that time the former minister and later on he became the Prime Minister. This is the statement of Ramvilas Pasma before Nanavati Commission. This is it's there. He says the same thing over here. At the same time, I.K. Gujral, along with General Arora and Patwan Singh, goes to the house of Home Minister, Narasimha Rao. And they say, when we reach there, we find there's absolutely calm. This is General Arora's own affidavit. General Arora, he is a retired Lieutenant General of Army. He is a 1971 war hero, the Bangladesh war hero, and he is highly decorated soldier, and the army of 90,000 of Pakistan army surrendered before him. This is his contribution to the nation. He has filed affidavit that when we reached Home Minister's home, it was total calm. There was nobody over there and there was no meeting going on, and the Home Minister came to meet them and it looked like as if he is coming out of his bedroom. This is what he has said. And at the same time, when the President was calling Home Minister to talk to him. Can anybody imagine that this is the state of affairs over here in Delhi? This is what was happening. This was happening at the at the highest level. These things are happening. And before that, this is the affidavit of General Arora, and This is the statement of I.K. Gujral before Nanavati Commission, the former Prime Minister of India. He also says when he went to meet Narasimha Rao. LK Advani also went to meet the president. Then Air Marshal, Air Marshal Arjun Singh, Chief Air Marshal, retired Chief Air Marshal, he is also the Bangladesh war hero. He also went to meet the president along with General Roda. President said, I cannot do anything. I have no power. Like Khushwant Singh, the eminent journalist, he called the president that my house is under attack. Please help me. President says, go and take shelter in some neighbor's house. I can't do anything. If I am outside the president house, even I am also in danger. So this was the state of affairs in Delhi. This is what was happening in Delhi at that time. And it was all free for all. And I mean, these kind of mobs had full license to go and kill any Sikh. And one thing more I tell you. General Arora, this Bangladesh war hero, even his house was under attack. I.K. Gujral, in his statement before Nanavati Commission, here, he say, I was so disturbed to see that if something happens to General Arora, he is our hero. He is the hero of our country. He is won Bangladesh war for us. If something happens to us, it's a matter of shame. So he went to General Arora's house and requested him to come with him to his house. He brought General Arora and Mrs. Arora to his house and gave shelter to them. Can't anybody believe today in Delhi this was the state of affairs? This is what was happening in Delhi. There was not even a single place in Delhi where anybody could be, any Sikh was safe. Not even one place where any Sikh was safe. These gundas were, these Congress gundas was going all over, supported by police, supported by paramilitary forces. And they were attacking whomsoever they like. They have the full liberty to do that.
We are now joined by Mr. Tarlochan Singh, former Member of Parliament, Padma Bhushan awardee, and former Press Secretary to the then President of India, Gyani Zail Singh. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. I wanted to begin by asking about whatever you remember from that period on 31st October 1984, the day that Indira Gandhi was assassinated.
That was the most unfortunate day in history of India and especially the history of the Sikhs. I am few of those who were survivor of that, the onslaught on Sikhs or the killing of Sikhs and how I saved, it's God's mercy on me. So I am a survivor of that. You see, I was posted in Rashtrapati Bhavan and Gyani Zail Singh ji was the President of India. He was on official tour to Yemen. So we were there in the morning at 8 o'clock. He receives a message from the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister that Indira Gandhi has been shot. So Gyani ji called the military secretary, said everybody should pack up and we are going back to Delhi. So we landed at the airport, Palam, and he was received by Arun Nehru, Dhawan and other officers. From there, Gyani ji's convoy moved to All India Medical Institute where Indira Gandhi was kept. So on the way, near R.K. Puram, I was in the fourth car and I was alone in the car. First of all, there was no such security as it is allowed, to be done. And as we were crossing, about 15-20 boys carrying torches, it was about 4 p.m. or so, 4:30 or so. They rushed to my car, shouted slogans and tried to stop the car and threw one burning torch in my car. Our driver with those Rashtrapati, they have a turban with the white turban and but somehow I told driver but to save us, otherwise we are dead because car was burned. He immediately threw the torch and rushed the car and those people Almost they were, otherwise they would have been under the car. And we straightway came to my house. Right, I didn't go to hospital. So that was how I was saved. The big story appeared in Statesman and other papers that Rajpati's secretary was attacked.
What were the thoughts running through your head after your car was attacked on the 31st?
You see, I told you, couldn't believe that in India, if I and the from president staff could be attacked for what? For no fault of mine, and innocent people being killed. So that was the feeling that a country which we left, our homeland is Pakistan. Our Guru Nanak born Pakistan. Even that we left. So we left Pakistan, our homeland, and came here that this is our new homeland and we are killed in our own home. So that was the feeling which I had.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out the time for us today.
Thank you. I think this worst scene of the history, people should remember and it should never happen again. That is our prayer.
There were some reports as well of armed units or army units that defying orders came to Delhi to try and restore law and order or protect Sikhs who were under attack.
I tell you the complete story of that. This Kuldeep Singh Makani, the same person who was given the affidavit of what was the situation at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Kuldeep Singh Makani, when he gave us affidavit during Mishra Commission, in this affidavit he had mentioned that on 1st November in the afternoon, his house was set on fire. They were on the first floor, the ground floor was set on fire. And there were policemen with the mob. Policeman was not stopping the mob, rather was instigating the mob. And so they thought that now today we will not be saved. In the meantime, a army unit came, and that army unit asked the policeman over there, if there is anybody in the house. The policeman said, no, there is nobody in the house. Aap jaiye. He said, when I saw they are going, I came on the terrace and I started shouting. So they heard his shout. So they came, they took them with them evacuated them to the cantonment area. The commanding officer of that unit was Major H.S. Sandhu. On the way, J.S. Sandhu told him that while we were asked to patrol on the ring road, and while we were passing off, we saw the smoke coming out from this. So we entered this area and we were coming this side. And he said, on the way, white ambassador car stopped our way. He said, there is no order for the army to come in. You go back. Kehta, I told him that there the smoke is coming out. We are going to check that house. That officer said, he said, no, you have no right to come in. There are no orders for the army. So Major Sandhu asked him, who are you? He said, I am from the intelligence. Major Sandhu tells him, move your car, I am going to check that house. He said, I will not move it. He said, okay, boys, take position. So when these army men took position and put machine gun on his car, then he moved the car, then he came in and saved Kuldeep Singh Makani's family. So now we were wondering that on first, there was no orders for the army. Army was called on first evening and it arrived on second. We were wondering how come this unit of army was there. When we were working in Mishra Commission, there was a number of ex-servicemen who were volunteering with us. And among them was a Commodore Jagmohan Singh Sood. He had worked in the defense intelligence also. So Commodore Sood said, he said, I will try to find out. One day Commodore Sood said, he said, there is one person from the army headquarters. He has a very reliable information, but he says he will give the information only to you. So he said, I want to organize a meeting with you. And he said at the same time, we are worried that since you are, those days I was being followed by the intelligence agencies, always. And everybody knew it. We also knew it, that I was being followed. And I tell you something, this, this SHO of Kalyanpuri, I met him. That I will narrate how I met him later on. But I had I had a meeting with him. I wanted to know that how come such a biggest massacre took place in Kalyanpuri, who is responsible, how the instructions have come. After the meeting, after one meeting, he didn't meet me again. After a few days, he met me in the court and he said, you are being followed. The same day, I was called to the police station, police headquarters, and I was told to be careful that you are meeting the wrong people. So I also knew I am being followed. So what we did, I went to the restaurant in Connaught Place. I parked I was on the motorcycle. I parked my motorcycle outside. I entered the restaurant and from the rear gate I went out. Commodore Sood was standing in his car on the backside. I sat in his car and he took me to, till today I have no idea where he took me, but he took me to a naval officer, serving naval officer's house, the government quarters. Over there, when I reached, they introduced me, this person, there was a Sikh officer standing over, sitting over there. They say, this person is from the army headquarters. Don't ask who is he, just hear him what he has to say. He gave us the information which shook the whole government. He said, on 31st, when Mrs. Gandhi died, immediately the State Minister of Defence, Minister was not in Delhi, State Minister of Defence immediately asked the GOC Delhi, he said, how much army we have?
The GOC in Delhi?
In Delhi, this was, I think, General Jimbal, who was the GOC Delhi. He asked him how much army we have. So GOC Delhi replied, I think, 3,000 or 4,000. He said, this may not be enough. Call more army immediately from the closest place. He said, the closest is Meerut. He said, send a message there to immediately send the army. So this, KPS Deo probably didn't know what is the plan of the Prime Minister office. So he thought he'll call the army. They sent a message to Meerut to immediately dispatch a army unit. There a unit had just come back from the exercise. They have not yet unpacked. So they said there is an emergency. They told that unit to move to Delhi. That unit happened to be 15 Sikh LI, 15 Sikh light infantry. The colonel was on leave. Major Sandhu was second in command, so he was the commanding officer. They left from Meerut in the evening, about 7, 8 o'clock, they reached the Delhi borders. Now, army cannot enter Delhi without the special permission. So, they waited at the Delhi border, Ghaziabad border. They were not given permission to come into Delhi. Because if they had been given permission to come to Delhi, that was by 7:38, they would have been there on the ring road. Ring road, this Ames area, they would have passed from this to the Delhi cantonment. So this is the area where the violence was taking place. If the army had come over there, the violence would have stopped there and then. But the government didn't want it. They did not allow them to enter into Delhi. At midnight, around 12 o'clock, they were asked to enter and go to the cantonment. On first morning, they were asked to familiarize the area between Daula and ashram. Only patrol, familiarize, no action. No. Now this Major Sandhu on his own tried to intervene and save many people. But what he sent the many situation reports. The situation is very volatile, give us the power, give us the order to control the situation. Many situation reports he was sending. In the meantime, this incident of that intelligence officer in Southern Enclave happened. Now later on, Makani said that later on he checked up and he found out there was a house close to Makani's house in Southern Enclave, which was used as a kind of a office for the intelligence agency, and that was the office of Raw. And the Raw officer used to sit over there. So he was from the intelligence agency. He conveyed to the government that the army is moving around. In the meantime, the situation reports Major Sandhu was sending to the army headquarters. Now, when they dropped Makani and they were immediately sent a message to report back to the cantonment. When Major Sandhu and his unit reached the cantonment area, they were asked to confine to barracks and their arms were taken away. Throughout after that, the army was called from outside. The government says, we didn't have enough army. But this unit which was available, they were asked to confine to barracks and they were disarmed, their arms were taken away. This is the state of affairs. When we came to know about this information, we combined it with the affidavit of Kuldeep Singh and we filed it in the Mishra Commission. When we filed it in the Mishra Commission, I said we want to examine Major Sandhu, we want to examine this General Jambal and Major General Jambal, GOC of Delhi, and we want to examine the army chief who could have taken these orders that this particular unit is to be confined to barracks. When we said so, the government was shaken because this showed the involvement of the Prime Minister office directly of the intelligence agency. Even otherwise, I am said this was the operation planned by the deep state, by intelligence agencies. This was all planned and executed under the supervision of intelligence agencies. So this draft clearly showed it. Justice Mishra did not allow us to examine them. He said, I have already talked to them, I have already met them. We said, show our statement. He said, I will not show the statements. I will not allow you to even see the statements. So at that stage, when we met, I told us the whole group of CJCs, Citizen Justice Committee, that I will tell you this is, we were appearing before this Mishra Commission. Justice Sikri was our president. Justice Tarkonde was member, Soli Sarabji was member, Govindra Mukhate was member, Rajini Kothari, Justice Rula, General Roda, and I was the secretary of that body. When I told them, he said, this is the state of affairs, then what role we have to play before this committee? If he is keeping everything away from us. So then the Citizen Justice Committee had, because the proceedings were on camera, no proceedings were being reported in the newspapers. The people had the trust because this powerful body, these Justice Sikri, Justice Tarkonde, people like them, watch our interest. This is a civil society, not only Sikhs. Even the civil society thought so. So the only way to tell the people of the country that we have no role, nothing is being done, we have not shown anything. So the CJC withdrew from the Mishra proceedings and disclosed all this, gave it to the public that we are mere spectator here, we have no role, we are not being given any, not shown any documents on that. But what is important here is the involvement of directly the highest power in the government. And what they did with Major Sandhu after that? They thought Major Sandhu has given this information to us, to me. They harassed Major Sandhu like anything. They retired him from the army. He was not promoted. And after retirement, he, this was in 92 or 93, around that time. He came to Delhi, he called up General Roda. He says, sir, I am so harassed by the army and I am leaving the country, I am going to America. General Roda asked him to speak to me at least before going. And so he talked to me also. He said, I'm fed up with this country. I'm going to Mecca. So he went to Mecca. We lost contact with him. When Nanavati Commission was appointed in year 2000, so I tried to trace Mehndra Sandhu. So now we wanted his evidence before Nanavati Commission. Unfortunately, that time, just before 6 months before that, he had suffered a heart attack and he was in coma. He was in coma at that time. On my next visit to, I told some Sikh organizations to look after him, take care of him. On my next visit to Mecca, when I tried to find out, he said, Major Sandhu is no more. So now, the kind of, this is kind of a planning, the kind of this everything being organized, supervised by the highest quarters, this kind of a genocide being controlled, being supervised by the Prime Minister's office directly. This is really shocking. Shocking. Rajiv Gandhi's office directly supervising this, the killing of the Sikhs in the capital of the country.
Did the government ever call in the army?
Just on the second night, they called the army. The army, this unit was not used. Army was called from Alwar, which reached on the second afternoon, and but they were not deployed. This was, I'll show you from the affidavits of Rahul Bedi and Joseph Malakan when we talk about that. That army was not deployed. They were not given any help. They didn't know what to do. They were just roaming around on the roads. They had no orders to take any action. And I tell you one incident. Now, what the state of affairs of the army, I tell you, but from Joseph Malakan and Rahul Bedi affidavit, when we talk about the Talokpuri, I'll tell you about that. But this incident, what happened, one of my friends, he was pilot that time in the Indian Airlines, Captain Devinder Singh Gare. He's a Rajput. This, in fact, I was taking shelter in his house. I'll tell you that story also later on. He evacuated me from the house. And the house behind his house belonged to a Sikh colonel. And whenever we went to meet Gare, his wife used to say, such a beautiful house they have constructed, such a beautiful crockery they have. And that was totally looted on 1st November. And Vijay, when we reached there, Vijay was crying. Vijay, Gare's wife. She said, not a spoon is left by them. On second night, this Captain Gare, he is 6 feet 1 inch tall and very well built. In the night, he took a stick and he went out. He said, I will see who now touches any Sikh in my colony. He goes out, he calls 1 or 2 more neighbors with him. He said, we should be shameful of ourselves. When we are sitting at home and they are burning the houses of our neighbors. So he went out, and in few houses there was some mob. He threw that mob, but he was well built, they thought he is a commando or something. And in one house, there was a large number of people. They were looting the house. He was not able to handle them. In the meantime, an army jeep came. He stopped that army jeep. There was a captain in that jeep. He says, fire, open fire. What they are doing? He says, it is not allowed. He says, it's shame on you being an army officer. You are shame on the army. He said, what they are doing is allowed. So that army officer, he also felt very bad. So he just fired one shot in the air. Whole mob ran away. When this was the commitment of the mob. Just one shot in the air, the mob of over 100 to 150, the whole mob ran away. And this is the state of affairs of the army. Army is seeing before them the houses being looted, the people being killed, and they can't do anything. Because they say they have no orders. So this is the state of affairs of the army. This was second night.
And before the night of the second, did the government not call the army in?
No. In the Mishra Question report, it is mentioned that there was 5,000 army available in Delhi. In Mishra himself has written in his report, this is this report will that if this 5,000 army could have been deployed effectively on 1st November, this could have saved at least 2,000 lives. 2,000 lives. So this 2,733, which is the figure, this won't have no more than 500, 700, 600. Who is responsible for it? Directly Rajiv Gandhi, directly, for not doing it. President is saying, Home Minister is saying, he is not doing it.
The majority of killings took place on the 1st and the 2nd. Is that correct? Before the government called the army in?
Yes, because it was a known thing that this operation had a code name in the intelligence files, and it is a known thing by now that it was meant for only for 72 hours. It was meant to check the violence on 3rd. So the violence on 1st November started as if somebody has switched on the button. On 1st November, immediately violence started. And on 3rd November morning, the violence stopped as if the button is switched off. The police, army, everything became effective from 3rd November afternoon. And by the evening, the violence was almost checked. Almost checked. There are very few incidents after that.
Thank you so much, Phoolka sir. Thank you everyone for listening, and we hope you join us for the next episode as well.